Hello, we're solving for a variable, and in this example, this formula is the formula where we change from degree Celsius to degree Fahrenheit. This is the formula we would use. If I want to know how much 10 degrees Celsius is in Fahrenheit, then I would plug 10 degrees into here, and that would be 18 plus 32, which is 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay? But for us, we're not going to plug anything into here, into this formula. We're going to solve this formula for C. And when we say solve for C, what that means is that I want to leave C alone on one side of the equal sign. Okay, so that's what it means. Right now, I have F being the isolated variable right now. I want C to be the isolated variable. So this is what we do. Before we do anything, I want to rewrite this expression. Notice that I'm multiplying 9/5 times C. C is really over a 1, right? And when we multiply fractions, I multiply the numerator times the numerator and the denominator times the denominator. So I can rewrite this as 9C divided by 5 plus 32. I want to rewrite it because when we do our do-undo table, it'll be easier for us to see what's going on. So let's do our do-undo table. Do-undo. The first thing that's being done to the variable is that it's being multiplied by 9. So I'm going to write multiplied by 9. The second thing that's happening to the variable is that it's being divided by 5. So divided by 5. And the third thing that's happening to C is it's being added to 32. So plus 32. Now we're gonna write these steps in reverse order. So if 32 is the last thing that we did to the variable, that's going to be the first thing we're going to do. And then dividing by 5 was the second to last, so that's going to remain as my second step. And the first thing we had done to the variable was multiply by 9, so that's the last thing we're going to work with. So notice how this is the direction that we worked, looking at what was going on with the variable, and now we're working upwards. Okay, we changed the order. The first one is now the last one, the second is the second one, and the last one is now the first one. Okay, and we also inverse the operations. So for 32, if I was adding 32, I'm going to subtract 32. Dividing by 5, I'm going to multiply by 5. And if I was multiplying by 9, now I'm going to divide by 9. So now I'm going to pay attention to this column here, and this is what I'm going to do in this order, starting by subtracting 32. That's going to be my first step. So remember, there's a river here going down the equal sign, just so that you can see what's one side of the equal sign and what's the other side of the equal sign. So let's subtract 32. Minus 32 on this side and minus 32 on the other side. On this side, I have F minus 32. And on this side of the equal sign, I have 9C over 5. This cancels out and becomes 0. So my first step is done. Now let's do the second step, which says multiply times 5. So let's multiply by 5 here and multiply times 5 here. Now be careful with this step. When I say multiply this side by 5, that means I don't only multiply the 5 times the F only. I multiply the 5 times F and the 5 times negative 32. So a short way to say that is that I'm multiplying 5 times all of this by placing these parentheses, because I really am multiplying by this whole expression. Okay? On this side, what do we have? We'll have 5 times F minus 32. And you don't have to distribute the 5 inside of here. You can leave it expressed. On this side of the equal sign, remember when we multiply times 5, we're really multiplying times 5 over 1. So we're multiplying fractions, which is multiply the numerator times the numerator and the denominator times the denominator. But before you do that, we can cross cancel here, 5 and 5. And now I have 9c times 1 over 1, which is 9c. Okay? And the last step it says here to do, we did this step, divide by 9. So let's divide by 9 and let's divide all of this by 9. And look at what happens. The 9 cancels out, that makes 1. So on this side I have c, and on this side I have 5 times f minus 32. Everything divided by 9. And we're done. We have isolated c, which is what we wanted. And usually we always write the isolated variable on the left side of the equal sign. So I'm going to switch places here. And there you have it. You have isolated c. And another way you can write this is 5 over 9 multiplied by f minus 32. These two statements are equivalent. So both of these are acceptable. Well, I hope you understood this solving for c. If you didn't, go back, watch it again, and try it on your own, and check to see if you get the same thing. Good luck with this.